If you watched my last video, you probably see my dog walking around enjoying life, just being a dog. That was the last day he was normal. That was the last day he was actually walking around being happy. The next day, it's just like something changed. It's like somebody hit a button, and ever since then, he was doing for. But yeah, next thing you know, we went to the vet, and the vet is always going to say you have to put your dog down. But in this case, he was actually suffering. I seen, the scans. He had multiple tumors. He couldn't breathe. And honestly, that had me thinking. Like, there was so much I could have done, so much I didn't do, and I feel like we could have just avoided, you know, my dog going through that. And mind you, my dog wasn't that old. He was like 8 years old. So that honestly opened me up to the fact that it's like there's so much we could do, but it's like at the time you either just don't think about it or don't care, and then in the end it comes back and it just bites you. I feel like that's what happened with my dog. I'm just being completely honest. It was sad. I miss my Charlie Papas, but fuck, yeah. Well, I didn't mean to start off the video like that. I just wanted to, you know, pay tribute because he's been in multiple videos. So RIP. All right, how did depersonalization make me lock in? So a lot of my closest friends, they know this story. Basically, before a basketball game, I had a panic attack. Of course, the panic attack wasn't from me being scared of the basketball game. It was me thinking about something traumatizing that happened about 2 months prior. And for some reason, I just kept overthinking about that situation. Every time I would think about it, I would get like these chills down my spine. But after that, it wasn't really too much. Basically, the exact same thing happened. I thought about it again. I felt the chills down my spine. Next thing you know, it was a panic attack on top of that. Everything around me got quiet. Everything around me got blurry. Everything around me got farther away. And I remember I ran to the restroom. I was just breathing hard, hella hard. And I was trying my best to keep it gangster, bro. Like, I don't know if that's the right word to use. I was trying my best to keep it P. And I still played the basketball game. I started to play the whole game. And the whole game, bro, it felt like slow motion. It's almost like it's a superpower, but it's not because you're in slow motion too. And obviously, during that time, I was still, working hard in basketball. And guess what? After that game, a scout literally took my picture and posted me on Twitter. Look out for Nathan Para. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about this no more. I'm losing my mind. Like, God willingly, I wake up tomorrow and it's gone. But no, I remember I went to my teammate's house, Marcus. He might watch this video, he might not. I went to his house, bro. I was just dead ass tweaking, bro. I was just trying to go to sleep immediately. I couldn't. I remember that night I lost like 15 pounds. He had a scale. I would always weigh myself when I was at his house just because I remember that night I specifically lost 15 pounds. 15 pounds, mind you, I ate canes the night before. So obviously something was up there. The next day I woke up, everything was still foggy, everything was still fucked up. And obviously I still played the game and I still like scored the most amount on my team. And I'm just putting that out there. I don't know. I need to be humble. I am humble. But yeah, so I was losing my mind, bro. It didn't stop there. It started getting worse. I started having panic attacks during basketball practice. Obviously, I tried to keep it P, so like nobody really knew. I think the only person that really knew what was going on was Marcus's dad, which is my teammate's dad. I remember one time during practice, like it was at the end of practice. Literally, the derealization got so bad, my body was literally moving in slow motion, and I'm getting chills thinking about it right now, bro. Cause like the derealization is supposed to, disconnect you from the real world because it's in danger. But the whole time it's doing that, but it doesn't feel right because you have a soul still. The soul just doesn't intertwine with what your body does sometimes. So I'm in slow motion, literally, or that's what it feels like. And I know that's not right because I know it's just not right. I'm not a fucking animal. So I'm losing my mind, bro. I remember that same week I like ran to my I remember that same week, bro, I ran to like my neighbor's house. I'm like, bro, I'm having a heart attack. And he was like a licensed dentist. So I guess he knew how to check the pulse or whatever. And he checked my pulse, like, yeah, it is kind of high. But like, dude, just relax, like, calm down. And I remember I just ran back home. I'm like, I was just losing my mind, bro. I remember at that time too, I went up to doctors. I was getting checked. And obviously, like, I didn't get like no blood test or nothing. I just got like the EG, whatever this chest thing called, like the test. There were some signs of like something, but we just left it alone, bro. Honestly, I could have done more, but I just wanted to leave it alone, to be honest. Um, and yeah, I remember I had to continue life how life is supposed to be, but it just didn't feel the same. So this was like during COVID year. We didn't have to go to school. I still tried to go to school. I remember I would drive to school. I walk around the hallway. It was so bad, bro. The panic attacks was happening. Like I'm looking around everywhere. Like my mind is just overstimulated. I'm like, fuck, bro. But I was having insomnia, sleep paralysis, brain fog. Bro, the sleep paralysis and sleep routine was so bad. Like I would probably get a 1 hour full night's sleep. 1 hour. I would fall asleep for 30 minutes, wake up to sleep paralysis. I was literally seeing demons on the wall, seeing demonic writing, demonic words in my ear that I've never heard in my life. And that's kind of how I realized, okay, this is a real spiritual battle. Obviously, it was done by me. It was my fault. You know, that traumatizing event that happened 2 months ago was my fault. And but that's when I realized like demons really come after you when you're down bad, when you were at your lowest. And I knew at that time I could have lived my life like this. Like no matter what I did, nothing was working though. But I just knew there was an answer. I know I'm not supposed to have fucking sleep paralysis for the rest of my life. I know I'm not supposed to have like demonic shit happening. And that's the shit that was happening. So, damn, I'm getting chills thinking about this shit. But yeah, I literally had no options at that point because I wasn't like knowledgeable on how to like get rid of this or like just to continue my life. So there was only two options: thug it out, or just. And this option was looking kind of good. I'm gonna be honest, but I knew I couldn't just leave my parents like out the blue because they're gonna live their whole life thinking it was their fault. They could have done something, and I can't do that. My family worked too hard just to see their only son be gone because he couldn't figure out how to get rid of his situation of some because of something he caused. So I knew there has to be a way out. There was no way I'm gonna have sleep paralysis, insomnia, anxiety, depersonalization, derealization for another fucking year. I knew there was something that could be done. Next thing you know, it's actually I'm not saying derealization is common among like just like that neighbor, but it could be common if you just speak up about it. And I ended up finding out my homie had depersonalization too. Two of them actually, which is kind of crazy, and it was both for them the same thing from smoking. Obviously that's a pussy way to get anxiety and depersonalization, but yeah, that's what happened. And then my homie he told me about celery juice. Obviously it sounds corny, but hear me out. So he told me about celery juice, and I'm not gonna lie, I was doing everything to, you know, get rid of depersonalization. I was doing yoga every morning. I was meditating. I had the frequency on. I would play the frequency during my sleep. What else would I do, bro? I was taking ice baths. The ice baths would help, to be honest. I'll put that out there. What else? I was just doing everything, bro. I would go mess with girls and thinking like I'm gonna feel something again. Honestly, yeah, I would go mess with girls just because I feel like it would make me feel something. It would like get me out of the depersonalization loop, and it just made it worse. I don't know why, but it did. But after I drank celery juice, I'm gonna be honest, my mind started to clear up. Obviously, like the insomnia, it didn't totally go away. It didn't get rid of all the sleep paralysis. I was still having like weird ass dreams, but when realized celery juice was kind of improving like my health, I started diving deeper. I started going into my health. I started going into what foods, what herbs, what routines will actually benefit the mental health. And I just went down a deep rabbit hole. Next thing you know, I'm starting to fast. I'm drinking like herbal teas. I'm drinking shilajit tea. Next thing you know, I'm changing my diet and my depersonalization starts to disappear. My derealization starts to disappear, and my anxiety started to flee. I started talking clearer. My mind wasn't as foggy no more. I actually felt presence in my life. I actually wasn't in slow motion no more. Uh, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it's like 100% gone because sometimes I get hella stressed. You know, whether it's life, my job, a girl, my family. Sometimes stress is gonna come, and like I'll have glimpses of like the derealization for like 5 minutes, and I just like shake my head and lock back in. But that's what I mean. How derealization made me lock in because I became so fixated at the routine I was doing because it worked. And that translated to everything else. Translated to, I still played basketball at the time. So it translated to me in my workouts in basketball. And it also has been translating to me making content. It's translated to me making money online. It's translated to me at my job. And the reason I say my job, I know I preach don't have a fucking job. Like escape the fucking the jobs, whatever. But I say my jobs because it's a sales job. You have to lock in, take some Zens or whatever to actually be locked in and make money. So it all those routines made me lock in and fixated on a clear path. So that's like the cool thing about the depersonalization, the derealization, because it's going to force you to lock in. And if not, I say that because I feel like there's people out there that actually just thugging this shit out. They're not doing anything. They're living normally. Matter of fact, they're still like living the same life that caused the depersonalization. And yeah, ever since I started having the impending attacks, anxiety, depersonalization, I haven't drank ever, and I haven't smoked. I'm gonna be honest. I did smoke a cigarette at the casino, but I lost my money, so I feel like, I feel like I earned that. And I was at the hookah lounge with my Habibis. Hey, hookah's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, obviously that was a little off topic, but ever since that, I haven't drank. Actually smoked some shit. Most I've done is hookah and a cigarette. And but yeah, I'm honestly glad that depersonalization happened to me. I'm not saying that if it didn't happen, my life wouldn't be where it is today. Honestly, you never know. If I never had it, I'd probably be on a better path. Let's be honest. But there's so many things and variables that could have happened. I just don't think about it. I'm glad it did happen because it taught me so much shit. It taught me that nobody gives a fuck about you. It taught me that nobody really knows what you're going through and they will never understand. Only you understand, and only God does. In the Bible, it says to, get rid of demons or to heal fast. Fast. Herbs are the healing of the nations. That's literally what the Bible says in Genesis. The herbs are for the healing of the nations. What got me out of anxiety and depersonalization? Herbs. Like, I wanted to be a holistic doctor back in the day, like 2 years ago. Honestly, I'm not gonna say the money's not good in that, but I fell in love with other passions. But I still have a deep loving for herbalism and like holistic healing because that's what it did for me. It got rid of anxiety and depersonalization and panic attacks. I dead ass started sleeping again. That's why I don't listen to what nobody gotta say about me. Like you didn't fucking believe me when I was like I was down bad, trying hard as hell to get rid of anxiety, depersonalization. You was looking at me like some crazy folk. Like I get it. I probably did look like a crazy folk. I probably was a crazy folk. I remember my mom would look at me like I was insane, bro. And that shit broke my heart. So I had to do something about it. And that was my way out. And I feel like all the truths are in the Bible. I feel like that was a little off topic too, but with that depersonalization and anxiety, it made me lock in so much to the point where I can't listen to anybody else's opinions. I actually had a therapist when I had anxiety and panic attacks. And the therapist just made it worse. I'm like, motherfucker, you need a therapist. What the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, I'm gonna let the fucking psychologist, therapist hand me a fucking Xanax because I have anxiety. I'm like, motherfucker, no. I flushed all that shit down the toilet. Literally, in the Bible, it says herbs are for the healing of the nations. And fasting heals everything. My camera just overheated, and it's crazy. The sun's not even out. So that kind of disappointed me. I honestly forgot what I was saying, but I feel like I got my point across. Oh, I do remember what I was saying. I was talking about how the herbs, the fasting, that made me so disciplined in life that it led to other aspects of my life. So, and the lightning. As on, is this a sign? It's a sign, bro. It works. So That just made me so disciplined in life. Obviously, I'm not perfect. You know, I still have issues. Sometimes I doom scroll a lot. I'm really trying to get better at that. Like especially during my sales job, like I just cold call. Cold calling is doom scrolling in itself, bro. And I feel like that fucks up my brain. And then I get bored during the cold calling, so I start scrolling through my phone, doom scrolling, seeing some fucking seeing some fucking meme that imagine you showed that to a caveman 3,000 years ago. Like they'd probably freak out. They'd probably have a panic attack too. But yeah, that's how derealization made me lock in, bro. Because if you get rid of derealization, you should be locked in every aspect of life. It just forces you to get your life together. So if you have derealization, depersonalization, take it as an opportunity to get rid of it. Because if you get rid of it, I promise you, you can do whatever. If you literally get rid of anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, derealization, what can fucking stop you? Literally.